Fine, yeah. So it's live on.
So we're now live on YouTube as well.
Oh, we're live already?
But we haven't got the thing to see the questions though, because the camera's facing the wrong way. Yeah.
How?
One of us will ask one, so we can like.
What did he come up on screen or something?
On the screen, yeah, on my phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
well,
like,
one of us can just
shout out.
shout out a question. Oh, okay.
By that you mean me.
Right, one second.
Yeah.
Live on
how
Facebook.
I mean, I'm not just going to start just like throwing things out. Does that mean how regularly do you want me to refer to the questions to get them on for you?
That's what I'm sticking with.
Yeah. So I mean, it's more your discretion then, isn't
I
it?
think we just have a little chat, and I think every now and again, right, so like
If there are
5
any
minutes or
interesting
so.
questions come in,
Yeah.
send them on to.
Yeah. So if one of you can be looking on the iPads, yeah, and see if any decent questions come in, hold them on them. And then when we say to you guys, what questions have you got coming in live, we will try and address them and then answer them, yeah?
The Steel Man's just commented that he's a first generation farmer and he'd like some advice.
Yeah, that's what I said.
He'd like some advice.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know where he lives, but my school college are doing a boot camp for agriculture at the moment, where you can go on a course and do a boot camp learning about agriculture. So that's probably a good start.
Sounds good.
So you had some questions as well, haven't you? So
I've got, yeah. Basically, yeah, so anyone watching on live now on Ollie's YouTube channel is, we're here today at our house to do a video blog. This is going to be our 4th one. So we invited Ollie along, because he's got a fantastic reach out across all the social media channels. He's got a fantastic kind of life, what you've led and where you've got to really. So I've made a bullet point questions and things that I want to interview you about, and that's everything from your family life, farming life, day-to-day blogging, your merchandise, the mental health support that you do for friends in the public, the Red Tractor. I want to know a little bit more about that for the British Food Standards, your properties, your NHS, some of your friends, influencers that you work with and you know, travelling around doing personal appearances, TV and radio. You've literally...
How long have we got?
I know, we have got a long time, so we'll do an opening piece to our camera anyway, okay?
My camera's rolling.
Mine's rolling.
Just 1 second, just need to get the sound.
For anyone that's watching live, there's 1, 2, 4
Yeah.
cameras, 5 cameras pointing at us.
Yeah.
It's all about the angles.
So we have got...
Live on Mr. and Mrs. Facebook as well.
Yeah, okay, so there's 2 cameras on us there, live on Mr. and Mrs. Facebook, live on Ollie's YouTube channel, and there's 3 set cameras either side. One centre one is on Ollie and I. We've got one straight one on me here, so we think I'm looking weird talking that way, and then one straight one pointing at Ollie's face there, so we can cut this together as a pre-recorded blog later on. But yeah, should we get on with it anyway then? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All cameras rolling at speed.
1 second.
Sounds okay?
Oh, sorry guys, 1 minute. We've got a problem.
Oh, Shaky Jake's messing up already. We haven't even gone live yet.
Yeah, at like 25 minutes I'll wave and then just pause.
Not
and then
formatted
reset.
5 minutes.
Reset. So it's only half an hour.
We're not formatted.
Oh, right.
Files,
You see, whereas if you can iPhone,
Yeah, most of the files.
Well, continuously, can't it?
all that iPhone camera and that.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this. So when I was here once before, you were saying about which was not format and what you thought when you were in the house. You didn't know, did you? How big it is?
Oh God, I was the last person in Britain to know how big the first Big Brother tin was to be, because I was walking around the house.
Well, there was,
I promise you, I sat in the house every day thinking, how on earth can you make a television programme? Well, you've got to remember that the
works.
views
It sounded like there's quite a lot of.
only seen half an hour or an hour every night.
But it did pop up before it said that format, but I've done that before.
38 cameras edit. You know, so you're capturing 10 people having fun, having arguments, cooking, cleaning, etc. All edited together to make it entertaining for the viewers. But us as a housemates sat there every day.
Reformat it and that's put it into the camera or something.
Honestly, how would they even make a television programme? Couldn't have been any longer. So,
But back then, it wasn't like Screen 365 then. It wasn't later on, was it?
no, the second show you started streaming live then full time, you could watch some of the Big Brother on live, but it wasn't all live because it was the first time the internet crashed. And I was arguing that's the on the couch on the table there. Basically, the internet crashed. You just couldn't cope with the millions and millions of people logging onto it. I remember it was back in 2000.
Yeah, we stood that out then, wasn't it?
We got any questions coming in on our live streams on our Facebook?
So for me though, when it was in the summer, so like, I was busy, but when we used to go to the pub on a Friday night, the final
I did this the other day, what's going on?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember like,
I didn't go on
around it because there's been this program on, and I've seen bits of it, like,
Yeah.
obviously over it, but not at all, like, and
Carl not
it was
formal.
such a simple concept, wasn't it?
Yeah, simple. And
But it changed TV as well, because reality
Doesn't need
TV.
format, I don't know what it's like.
yeah,
This is quite cheap to film.
it's
Doesn't need
because
format.
you're not, you just put them in a house,
Well,
filming it,
press
and
record,
no
you
script,
know.
just listen to it.
Yeah. But you don't need studios, you don't need big studios, I mean, like,
No.
loads of cameras and everything, it's just someone to
Otherwise we're going to put them on both.
We had, I think we had 28 cameras, set cameras, which were remote control, so you know, they were in the corner, you walked across
I don't
the
even know how to
room
hold
like this, and then you had one-way mirrors right the way around the wall, so like where we're in our bar area now, you'd have what looks like a massive big mirror, but there's a man behind there, or lady, you know, filming what's going on. They did 4 lives. You know, it was real weird.
No,
Come
I
out
don't
to
know
the
what
house,
that was.
and about a week later they had a rap party, and there was probably about 300 people waiting, you know, on the show at the end of it. I had people coming up to me going,
Might as well,
"Craig,
you know.
I'm on the camera 17. I do a midnight shift from 12 o'clock till 4, and my job was to watch me for 4 hours on camera, waiting in case I got up and went to the toilet. And I was a bit like, weird, you know what I mean? Like, what do you say to that? You know, to know that you've been watched that closely. People come out to me to tell me how many cups of tea I had. Everything was monitored. Do you know how many times I went to the toilet? Everything.
Presumably there was no cameras in the toilet.
There was cameras in the toilet. You have to have a camera above us with their head. So I questioned it in the contracts to say, you know, is that really necessary? Why do you want to put me on the toilet sort of thing? And they claimed that it was for safety reasons because the pressure that you're in there, if someone decided, I can't take it, and wanted to hurt themselves, and you'd go to a room where there was no cameras. So part of their insurance, and they had psychiatrists watching you 24 hours a day, they had to see what you were doing.
So, was there completely no interaction at all with the outside world? You know what was going on?
Absolutely not, no. We had one camera like this in the dining room where we would just go in, press the buzzer, you'd wait to let you in, and you'd say, "Hi, big brother," and sometimes it would be a man, sometimes it would be a woman, and it was kind of, it come across, it was some sort of fader on the voice, so you couldn't actually even identify whose voice it was. It was just a little bit robotic. "This is Big Brother, he'll get back to you. How can I help you?" You know, very not personal at all. You know, where sometimes you just wanted to go in and have a good rant or a good cry, and then just be like, you know, "I'm really pissed off about this, just can't get my head round it." "Okay, Big Brother will get back to you." Like that.
But how did you end up on it? Because did you have to reply, or did they approach you, or what?
I remember the hours they get onto it. I seen a documentary in Holland about Big Brother, and there's a Holland, it's in England, it was a Holland company, and they were going to make it, and they were going to, if it was successful in the UK, turn it out right around the world.
Right.
So I wrote to the production company and just said, "If you are doing it in England, consider me as an applicant." And I just wrote a little bit of a page about myself, what I'd done with my work and things like that. Excuse me. And then it was weird, it was about, I forgot about it, about 7 months later, I was up on a roof doing lead flashing around a chimney breast. And in them days, your mobile phone's about that big.
Yeah.
My phone started going in my pouch. And there was this lady said, "Oh, so, I'm so-and-so from Big Brother." And I was like, "Big Brother?" I was like, "Big Brother?" He was like, "It's Endemol Basil Productions, you wrote to us." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I did, yeah, of course." He went, "Well, the show's been commissioned now in the UK, it's going to be next summer. You wrote to be an applicant, do you want us to send you some forms out to apply?" So I was like, "Yeah, send them through." So I got them sent through. At first it was just a few pages you fill in, and then I got invited to a hotel in Birmingham, because I was in Newport, Shropshire, hotel in Birmingham to do some group games. There was thousands of people there, and I got put in different groups, sometimes a group of 4 girls, sometimes a group of 4 guys, or 10 people in that group, guys and girls. And all throughout the day we were given tasks to do. Some of them were physical, I can't even actually think of some of them now, but because I run a building company and had 30 guys working for me, I was used to ordering people around, let's say. So I would look at the task, and it'd be like, "Right guys, put this rope right way around this area, we can't cross that pot, got to get the bucket from there to there, so you branch across there, I'll pull that." And all the time we kept doing the tasks, and I kept working, we were doing them quicker than anyone else. And all the people in my group would just stay quiet and listen to me.
Yeah.
And I felt the cameras homing in on me. So I was kind of thinking, this is doing all right, you know. And then sure enough, they called me shortly after to say, you're brilliant in that, we're going to the next session, and it just kept going on like that.
So where did you find other people then that were in the house?
There were, well, they put a public advert out there because 45,500 people applied. The first people were like, no, it's mad, because most people, you know, kids go on, yeah, they're all kids just going, yeah. It's just going crazy down there. Yeah, 45,000 people applied, and that went over about a 7-month period. So I just kept getting shortlisted, you know, and all the while I kept getting more and more phone calls off different producers, you know, saying, oh, Craig, now down to the last, you know, 1,000 people, now down to the last 500 people. And it was a weird one because at one point I'd done a lot of the group thingies, a lot of application, and then another application form come in, 100 odd questions, and each question you had to answer in no less than like 500 words. Or something like that, and I was just a bit, and they were real personal, down to, you know, how often do you masturbate? And I was sitting there, right, this one night, it was about 10 o'clock at night, and I was doing VAT returns, and I had these invoices all up and down on the floor, didn't even have a computer in them days, calculators like that, trying to get them all in, recounting, the VAT's late, you're going to get fined. And then reading this application, and I was starting to do it all, and I'd done it over about a week or two, got to about page 40 or something. And when it come to that, you know, so personal, I just thought to myself, you know what sort of show is this? I don't want to be on it. And I generally threw the application out on the floor and thought, it's been 6 months, we've gone through everything, you know, got to there, I'm not going to go any further. My VAT return, my business is more important. And it was at 10 o'clock at night, the producer room. It was bizarre as I threw that down. In television, people work, you know, for random hours. And she said to me, she said, Craig, I shouldn't tell you this, but that application you've been sent, only 50 people have been sent that application. You're now down to the last 50 people, and the other 49 people have sent theirs in, and yours isn't, and it's past the thingy date. You know, why isn't it? And I just thought, is this a sign that it could be right, you know? So I promised her, she said, promise me you'll get that in recorded delivery the next day. So I said, okay, I'll promise it. And then I went real cocky and arrogant because I was tired and the VAT returns. So I got to each question, and I just thought, I'm not going to answer them in 500 words or 1,000 words, I'll just answer one word. I'll be really cocky because I read an article that day in the newspaper, and it stuck in my mind. And this individual had been in university, and he was on his final exams after a few years, and he had to write 10,000 words on risk. Yeah. And all he wrote was, this is. And he put it in, and it got in the newspaper, and he passed this thing, because he took a big risk. And I just thought, you smart boss, we got quite cocky. Right, well, I'll do that. So I was just like, what will you most miss in 64 days in the house? Sex. What will you most think, you know, and I've just done one word, bullet points on all the rest of the application, and then I put it in the next day. And then he rung me, and we were just like, right, we passed that stage. Now you've got to have police checks, medical checks, psychiatric screening.
Do you reckon it's to see to test your patience? Because you think, oh, he's not got the patience to fill this form, and he's going to be entertained in the house.
Possibly, who knows?
Because I got approached last year to do the programme that they had a working title, Make Me Prime Minister or something. And they invited me to London to do this thing, and then we went again and we did all these, like what you were saying, these games to see how people work together. And everyone in there was really like clashing. And I thought to myself, they just want people that are going to really not get on with other people. And I'm always quite diplomatic because I have to work with my dad. Even though we shout at each other. And I just thought, they're not going to pick me for this because I can be calm. Sometimes I'm not, but I thought, I'm not going to argue with them. I don't believe in what they're saying, but I haven't got the freaking time with the crayons, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then they invited me again, and I had to go see the psychiatrist to see whether I was going to be like, whatever. And they kept me hanging on, and they were like, we're starting filming on the 11th of June, so we'll let you know. And then about a month before, I thought, you know what, if they ring me now, I'm too busy. They missed the opportunity, missed it. And they didn't ring until the 11th of June, and I reckon that they must have waited to make sure everyone turned up. And then maybe they cancelled or something, because it was really weird. Anyway, I wasn't bothered, but it was a bit of a flop anyway. But I thought, they want someone that's going to argue. There was a fireman, there was a taxi driver, a guy that looked like
That kind of is how reality TV has spiralled.
everyone was nearly like a caricature of themselves.
Yes, yeah.
And then like I'd have been the token country boy kind of thing, and I just thought, anyway, I'm glad they never asked me to weigh in. I'm glad I didn't do it. But I thought they were kind of a bit like everyone in that room would have crawled over coals to be on the telly.
Yes, because they were desperate for it.
Yeah, so they'd applied and seen it
Yeah,
and applied.
yeah.
They'd come to me. They found me on Twitter
yeah,
and
yeah.
YouTube, and then they'd come to me. And on the day I was getting interviewed, I was the only person that had been approached. Everyone else had applied.
Brilliant.
And then I know another farmer that they'd done the same to as well, and they messed him around as well a bit.
Yeah, just leading you all on, because they need 10 people for their show.
Well, they want you like,
leading on 15 or 20.
they want you hungry for 5 minutes of fame,
Yeah.
because then you'll make an idiot of yourself.
Yeah, you go that extra mile as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. But just one thing, when we record, try not to do that, because our microphones are so sensitive. They sound like a drum. They sound like a drum on that. On our cameras, we're all right on these are fine on that.
But for you, what probably happened, everyone in that house, all were desperate for the 5 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
But you were just like, I can't be arsed. And you come across as normal.
And do you know what it was, and I can generally say hand on heart, I've said this in many interviews, I didn't go on the telly to be famous. I genuinely didn't. I was happy and content with my building company. It was going in the right direction. You know, I was 25 years of age, I took the £1 million turnover, and I had 30 men working for me, so didn't need the TV.
Yeah.
You know, but it just happened, and obviously you're a businessman, so you take advantage of what opportunities come your way, sort of thing.
Yeah, because like it was before social media, so there was no such thing as good bad listed anything or other. So.
No, not really. No, it was in. It was a weird time because it kind of Big Brother really changed the entire dynamics on television, because it was the first programme that one gives the audience the choice of what goes on, who wins, who stays, you know, and it was the first kind of television programme that really combined everything together, like the internet, the phone calls, the text messages, which turned into £1 billion industry.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely billions worldwide. Big Brother's still the most successful television format now in the world, because for the first 10 years it was produced, I think, in about 79 countries, and over 79 countries. It run for over 10 years. You know, it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and the advertising stream and everything else that come with it. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy, isn't it?
It's nuts.
Right, should we do our opening then for
Yeah, the other comments saying, would you go on it?
Would I go on it? I haven't got the time, have I? Yeah.
It's a good question though. Would you go on it?
You go on it? If you do it between like, I don't know, 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. When you get that
3
free
weeks
time.
on Thursday, yeah.
Okay, right.
Okay, I think we've got this sorted.
Yeah, is anyone watching the live ones on? We've got 2 phones on the go there.
Yeah, there's quite a
Few
few
people watching on this one.
8.
How many there?
31 people watching.
31,000 and 8,000, that's brilliant. We can play them
We
out
should have done it in
together.
the evening, shouldn't we? So.
Yeah, even the times. Okay.
Okay, you ready to go?
Yes, yeah, we've all got all 3 of them.
Yeah,
Camera.
that's recording now.
Just so you see. You got me. Hello, welcome to my 4th video podcast. And my special guest here at the bar today is Ollie Harrison, aka Ollie Blogs. Now, Ollie's probably the most famous farmer in the UK. On his YouTube channel, he has over 50 million views. Now, I don't think that's accidental. However, he's self-proclaimed as an accidental YouTuber. But it's not just his YouTube channel that is hugely grown. All across his social media channels, TikTok alone has got one video on there, I'm right in saying about 10 or 15 million views on one video.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Wow. And of course, he's not just a farmer, he's a family man, a businessman, entrepreneur, a landlord, and generally a very nice, caring guy who supports the community, lots of various different charities that I can't wait to hear about. So Ollie, welcome to my bar.
Yeah, welcome, yeah.
Oh, are you okay?
Alright, yeah.
Excellent. Well,
I don't know the most famous farm, I think that's now Clarkson.
well, that was going to be one of my questions later, actually, to say, I think Jeremy Clarkson's obviously famous for being a brilliant car critic and a success to Top Gear and things like that, but he's only kind of recently moved into being a farmer. So is he a real farmer or not?
Well, from what I believe, he actually bought the farm quite a while ago, and it was just contract farm while he was off doing Top Gear and stuff. And then when he left the BBC and went to Amazon, I think it was, they had, all three of them had to do a spin-off programme.
Yeah.
And he was the last one to film this, but he wanted to do it on the farm.
Okay.
I think he got a bit more interested in it when he stepped back from the BBC, but it's obviously been hugely successful, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But what's been really good is it's near enough real. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's not a lot. There's that much can go wrong in farming that they've not had to dramatise it very much at all. So it's been very good to teach people actually what goes on the farm.
Oh, that's good. That's good hearing from a real farmer, of course, actually saying that. So anyway, farming days then. So is it, will you become a farmer just because it's come down through your family? Because most of the time people are born on a farm, aren't they, and end up taking over the things. How have you become a farmer?
Well, I think I'm the fourth generation of farmer right now, but I think the fifth in Tarbert where we live. And I don't know how far back farming goes, but I keep telling my dad to do a family tree to try and work it all out. But no, I was born on the farm and I didn't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
I didn't like school. I was dyslexic, so writing things down it just seemed hard work to do school.
Same as myself, actually, yeah.
I just wanted it out. And
you know, the more and more people I'm talking to and getting to know over the years and getting some experience to meet people like Richard Branson and things like that, they're all dyslexic.
yeah.
And they all seem to do really, really well, haven't they? Yeah,
In school it's not, because you don't fit the national curriculum and you don't understand it. But in life it's a gift because it means you can think in different dimensions.
Yeah. Did you find school hard when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, it had to be. Well, I mean, to be fair, I was alright in like the maths and stuff like that, but for like English and other things I wasn't very good at all.
Yeah. But you were living on a farm then, of course,
Yeah,
with your family and going to day-to-day school. Do you think that anything in day-to-day schooling now should be helping or educating kids in farming? Because it's an important part of the economy and the country we live in, isn't it?
I think it's important if people know where the food comes from. The problem is, there's a lot of teachers that don't know either. So when I was in school, like, you know, you've got all these 30 people in your class, then about, I don't know, when was Facebook invented? 15 or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You kind of like meet all your old school friends again.
Yeah.
And you find the teachers and like, how can they be a teacher? Like, he went to my school, then he went to university and then gone back to a school. And they've never been in the real world.
World of working, world
But when you're in school, you think teachers know everything.
Yeah.
But then when you know teachers, no offence to teachers that are watching, but a lot of them don't know much at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And unless they've had a good teacher, who knows? And the best teachers I had in school were ones that worked in industry and decided they wanted to go teaching.
So they had more real life experience.
And I had a maths teacher, he's from around here actually, Mr. Valentine. I hope he's still with us. He was getting on a bit though. But he worked at Pilkinson's class.
Yeah.
And everything he taught us in maths was what he'd done in work in real life.
Brilliant.
Like working out height buildings or different things.
So you're getting the best of both worlds then, aren't you? You're getting real life.
It's not just numbers on stage, it was how you practically use it.
Yeah, that's right. Because I know I was, you know, God, sent home from school so many times. I sagged off school so many times because I was working at 13 years of age as a butcher. When I go to work go to school Monday to Friday, I'd finish, race home, work in the butcher shop from 4 o'clock till 6, just scrubbing the blocks and cleaning up, and then working Saturdays. But then it's got to about 14, earning kind of good money. I was on like £10 a week, and I felt I was rich. Basically, I wanted to work more and more, so I had to sack off school because I was having a hard time. I was dyslexic. The teachers didn't recognise it. He said I was stupid. They all used to say to me, "You're going to end up in jail," and this, that, and the other. And then what's kind of ironic was, when I went on to 2003, I opened the biggest construction academy in the northwest of England, and we had 152 students, 26 teachers, and I think it was 8 admin staff working in it. When we had the opening, I invited some of my school teachers to come down and look, the ones that used to say to me, "You'll only end up in jail," and things like that. We had the Prime Minister's wife doing the official opening for us, Cherie Booth, at the time, and I had a couple of teachers asking me for a job.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. The ones that thinking you're just a little scally dropout will never get a career in your life. They couldn't read or write properly, you know. But they weren't educated at the time to be able to deal with people. I think it's it certainly has come on a lot more now, hasn't it?
Well,
A lot more of a chance.
the problem with schools now, it's not about, what's the word, teaching people how to think, it's teaching them how to pass the exam so that the school doesn't drop down the Ofsted rating.
Yes, because it's all about their figures, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not like with this,
Which is quite sad, isn't it?
well, there's a saying, it's like schools should teach you how to learn, and then you can obviously broaden your horizons.
Yeah,
That's
things, yeah. But they're not just teaching you how to take the exam, because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
want the marks
Yeah.
as much as you do.
And that's exactly it. Like
Just-
different countries do it different, and like dyslexia doesn't show.
Yeah. So where have you learned your skills then? You had a troublesome time in school, and then when you come to work on the farm, I take it was that 16
Yeah,
years of age?
well, yeah. If we were digging spuds though, and
Yeah. So you didn't go to university
No,
to
no.
learn anything
No,
about
so-
agriculture?
when I left school, we farmed 180 acres, and we had a guy that worked for us, and he was retired. He retired the year before I left school, so he worked from 15 to 65, so 50 years on the farm. So when I left school, my dad did it a hand, so I just went straight into that role, if you will. But the farm wasn't really big enough to
180 acres wasn't big enough.
not to sort of like provide an income for,
Oh, right,
for
okay.
me and my mum and dad, if you will. So I sort of tried to expand, did a bit of contracting with, spare time with tractors, and then took on more land. We're just about 1,400 acres now.
1,400 acres was
So,
enough.
but it's still the same game, it's just
Yeah.
a north and everything.
I see,
Yeah.
yeah.
The bills is, 10 times as bigger, and
Yes,
it
yeah.
might be 10 times as bigger, but the profits certainly aren't.
Yeah, certainly on 10 times bigger.
No, so it's just the same game, just with a north and everything now.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, leaving school then, going straight into that farming industry, did you not have to get any further education from external parties, or was it just learned from your dad generally?
Just a lot
Going
more
through
from
it.
that. I mean, you have to do certain exams, so like to spray, for instance,
Yes.
put chemicals on, you have to do.
Spray crop.
Yeah. You have to do an exam for that, but it's only a couple of days training and whatever. So that was one of the things I did that when I was about 17. But no, I learned a lot myself. I mean, of late, there's the farming forum.
Yeah.
So that was before social media. There was like you could go on, you could ask questions and people would reply. I learned quite a lot on there about like direct drilling, which is what we do. It's basically just, I always want to do things faster and quicker and easier, more efficiently, and that's one of the ways that people do it. So I learned a lot of that, around 2009 probably, from the farming forum, from sort of like 97 when I left school to then, kind of just start to do really what we'd always done. And then I wanted to, you go to shows and you see machinery and you think, well, that'll do it quicker, better, and you just follow that. I just always invested in different machinery. Did quite a lot of contracting from like the early 2000s to the late 2000s for the local authority.
Okay, yes.
Verges, cutting grass verges, cutting motorways, school fields.
And did the local authorities use you because you had that plant equipment that's capable of doing them jobs?
So the first time we did something for them, they were amazed at the efficiency, because we're all, like farmers, we've got to be efficient because the weather changes the next day.
Yeah.
And I remember them giving us this 10-day rota for the grass cutting. So they had a guy on a tractor that went out and it took him 10 days. Well, the tractor was broken and he was off it, and they asked us if we come in. We did it in 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah. So the guy been doing. I had a tractor once for 5 weeks. This tractor ran for 5 weeks, and they come back and they put 9 hours on it. That's the inefficiencies.
Let's hope nobody from the council is watching.
So they're a lot better now, but it went on and we started doing tree work for them. Then there's a machine called a forestry mulcher, and years ago they had this thing called the Mersey Forest, and they were getting like 100 quid to plant a tree, but really they should have spent 20 quid to plant a tree and 80 quid to invest and maintain it for the next 100 years.
Right.
So they did, they just spent 100 quid planting a tree, densely planted them all, and they ended up with all these like pockets throughout the borough of antisocial behaviour, because all these trees were densely packed in and kids were messing in and making dens, burning stuff and things. So they wanted to thin them all out. Well, you did all the thing going for chainsaw and wood chipper and piss it out. Well, I thought a forestry mulcher would do it quicker, so I bought a forestry mulcher.
Okay.
And I said, I've got this machine that would be really good. And it took them ages to let me try it.
Yeah.
I did a demonstration with them in an hour, and they were just like, you've just done what it would take us a week to do.
Really?
So they're like, how much is it? I was like, it's £1,000 a day.
Yeah.
But but to them it was like, it was saving them so much money, even though they had
And that's the way they will look at the bigger picture, isn't it? What it's saving time
so
and money.
we ended up doing a lot of work with that to the point that we were running to them at one point.
Oh wow, that's
The only problem is it wasn't a problem because when the birds started nesting, you have to stop, but then that meant it was harvest anyway, so we were busy with that. So I did that for I don't know, 5 or 6 years. We really were doing it, and of course the recession came and they ended up skint and stopped spending, and I took on more land in the meantime anyway. So just
that kept you busy.
yeah.
So going back to your farm then and the land, like 1,400 acres of it, what do you do on there on a day-to-day basis besides your blog? And we're going to come to that in a minute. Actually farming on there, what happens?
At the moment, it's just starting to quiet down because we're coming into the summer, so everything's got its fertiliser, it's all growing nicely. And
When you say it's all grown, what's grown?
the wheat, barley, beans, oilseed
Wheat,
rape,
barley, beans, and
yeah,
oilseed,
yeah, so it's all like this side now.
Yeah.
So June's traditionally quite a quiet time. We've got a bit of hay to cut, so we've cut some hay, so we'll bale that this afternoon. Harvest should arrive beginning of July.
July
We're harvesting barley, oilseed rape, then wheat, and then beans.
Yeah.
And then September's the busiest time because we're still harvesting crops, but we're also drilling next year's crops, so sowing them in the ground.
Prepping for next year already.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that in September, and then kind of get to November, everything should be in the ground hopefully by then. If it's not, we have to give up because it comes too wet.
Oh really?
And then you
You've
can
got some runs, you've got the chance.
you kind of shut the gates on the fields then until sort of February.
Okay.
And that's when we do the tractor run you see in December.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you're a veg farm, you're busy in December because you're harvesting veg for people's Christmas dinner and cereals. You know, December's quite a quiet month for us.
Yeah.
Just a bit of grain going out. I mean, we have some other stuff going on, like different diversification and that. We recycle 4,000 tonne of wood chip a year, so that doesn't stop.
Yeah.
That's always happening in the winter as well.
And what do you do with them runs that are recycled?
We sell it to other people that use them in power stations,
Yeah.
or either power stations or biomass boilers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there's not much waste then, is there really?
No. So we take it in off tree surgeons all year and chip it every week. We used to be chipping nearly every day, but we've got a bigger chipper now. We just try to use it once a week.
So I'm right in saying farming life pretty much is 365 days a year. Certainly if there's livestock. You don't have any livestock?
No, we don't. We used to have cows, and then they were in like, what was at the time £500,000 worth of barns, nice sandstone barns, and they didn't pay, you got a dead one and it took the profit out of the other 10. Yeah. So I was never interested in livestock, I was never interested in machinery, so we got rid of the livestock about 15 years ago maybe now, and converted the buildings into office space and rented them out, and that's done really well. They've just ticked along nicely. It's just first time we decided to kind of borrow money to do something outside of farming as well. That was the first bit of diversification, but it paid and it worked. And
that's why I wanted to ask you about your education really, because I've only known you a couple of years and I've visited the farm a number of times, but what really stands out to me is your kind of entrepreneurial drive, vision and knowledge as well. Where do you think all that has come from then? Do you think it's come from your early farming days or the latter 3 years doing the media stuff?
What did they say? The mother of inventions. Necessity is the mother of invention. So I always wanted to buy a bigger tractor or a bigger machine, and I had to work out how I was going to fund it, and you couldn't fund it for a farm. So it's like, what can I do? What can I sort of sweat the assets to make them earn better money to then be able to invest it in machinery? But then you see, when you invest in machinery, it means you can farm a bigger acreage.
Yes.
With the same amount of staff, within the same amount of time, and it just kind of snowballs like that. And it's like the YouTube income. I mean, if you weren't farming, it's life changing.
Yes.
You'd have a Lamborghini and a Ferrari and a huge house, but when you're farming, you just pay the HP on a few tractors and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
At the moment, it doesn't even cover what interest rates have gone up by. But I mean, I've got some big borrowing because I've been lucky enough to be able to buy land and other farms and stuff.
Yeah. Some of the properties, I mean, you showed me some of them, having the land that you've got and some of the buildings that you've already had and you've converted, but you've also just converted it to back it into another avenue, a business avenue stream, haven't you? Yeah,
so I managed to buy another farm 4 years ago, and the maths of the actual 75 acres, it was never going to pay its own mortgage, but the house and the yard had potential. So when I first bought it, everyone was like, oh, why don't you sell the house and the yard off and have some cheap land? I was like, cheap land won't pay. You're lucky if you can clear £100 to £200 an acre a year.
Really?
Yeah, that won't even come.
A year? A couple £100 a year?
Yeah.
On an acre?
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
If you come to me and said, I'll guarantee you £200 an acre for the next, however many years, I go,
take it?
Yeah, because, you know, I mean...
I had no idea. It was,
I mean, in the last 3 years, we've had 2 droughts, and I've probably lost £200 an acre. So, you know, which is 200,000-300,000 quid. But if you sold that land, if you sold that yard off and ended up with that cheap land, you still won't pay the interest. So I was like, right, well, the yard's got the earning potential, so I converted the house. Originally, I was building it into a HMO, so a house with multiple occupancy. And I come up with the idea of all the vet students at Liverpool Vet College that have horses can come live in the house and keep the horses stable. So I put a paddock in and started doing that, and COVID hit, and it was like, what's going to go on here? You know, all the unis went home. So I kind of went back to what was the original plan, though I was talked out of it by my mum and dad, because they said no one's going to want to come on holiday to live here. But I put it on Airbnb, and it turns out it's hugely successful. Lots of hen parties come because they can.
It's a massive big house.
It's eight double bedrooms, so you know, 16 is 3 sofa beds. So a hen party can come. They're not far into Liverpool. They've got all that space, a huge kitchen. They can have a cheap hen do if they want, because they can bring all their own food and drink. You know, we have a chef guy that can go and cook for them, and it works really well. I would say 90% of the things will be hen do's.
How can people find out about that? What's the website?
The easiest way, I think it's brookhousestay.co.uk, or it's on Instagram, brookhousestay. But it's gone really well. I mean, I don't know whether it will this year because interest rates have gone up. But last year, the bookings and the cleaning and the electric all paid and the mortgage. Just from the farmhouse, and I still have the land as well to farm. Which I obviously then wasn't paying rent on as well, because I did used to rent it before I bought it. So now it's gone well, but I just, interest rates at the moment,
It's crippling, isn't it? I know, I've got a number of units myself, and it's just gone up like that, and the rents haven't, they're just there. Mine are pretty much running insolvent. I mean, I have a media company to be able to prop them up a little bit.
The good thing is like, we've got high interest rates because we've got inflation, so we've got inflation on the assets. So when you look at the value of the property, you know, it might have cost me an extra 40 grand a year to mortgage it, but it's going up by like 80 grand a year in inflation.
I see,
But you've still got to make the payments to keep the bank happy.
Of course you have, every
So,
month.
so you just work harder every year. Kids will be rich.
I keep saying that, kids will be rich, So, and I mentioned also as well, obviously a family man, recently got engaged at Buckingham Palace. And, well, Sean said yes. And you've got a young son, James, as well, just had his first birthday. Apologies, I couldn't come to his party as well the other week.
Well, we didn't want chicken pox, so that was fine.
Oh, Paul Little popped up. No, they're fine now, We were due to go to Pong. We're really looking forward to it as well. How probably is it? Saddleworth, that's right, Saddleworth, sorry, yes. And we were excited, we were looking forward to it, but poor little Len got chicken pox, had spots all over him, bless him. So it wasn't good, but did the party go well?
Yeah, it was good. So it was a bit of a, I mean, Charlotte didn't know at the time when she was organised that she was going to be getting engaged, so it was kind of like James's birthday and then like a bit of a housewarming, because it was a holiday let that she'd built, so it's a converted stable that looks over the hills. It's amazing.
Beautiful, you showed me some pictures of it.
So that's it. What's that called now? Ned's Cottage. That's on Instagram.
Ned's Cottage, that's on Instagram. So people can rent that, can they?
Yeah, that's like, he's got 3 double bedrooms. Probably sleeps about 8, 10 maybe.
Perfect.
Got a hot tub looking out.
It does look lovely, seen the pictures of it, it's great. So what happened at Buckingham Palace then? How did it go?
So, I got invited to the garden party because of the charity stuff, which I'm sure is on the question sheet. They made me a deputy lieutenant.
A deputy lieutenant of
yeah.
Really? Oh wow.
So they invite you then to the garden party as well. So we went up to there, and I knew I was going, and I thought, where can I get in? I thought I want to do something that no one else can ever top. So I thought, well, not many people I'm sure get engaged at Buckingham Palace. So I waited for that day, like.
Brilliant.
But it was a total surprise to her.
How did Charlotte react?
But she couldn't talk, but she didn't understand, and she's just like, she was completely shocked. I should have recorded it.
I can't
And I was
believe
like, are you going to say yes? And she's like, yeah. Just like. But what was funny was the day before we'd been in Harrods, and she'd been looking around the jewellery section in Harrods, and she'd been showing me these rings she likes, and I'd just been like,
I've heard about the rings from
from Boodles.
Yeah.
Very expensive. But
not cheap. Amazing quality, of course.
Well, that's it. I think they never lose any money, do they? They are investments, like. So,
So any signs or dates for the big day?
Not for a couple of years.
Not for a couple of years,
She's obviously
okay.
pregnant at the moment as well,
Yeah.
the second.
I was about to ask, yeah, James is one now, and is there any more on the...
Yeah, so
horizon?
first of November she's due with a little girl. So we've just given away to YouTube, it's a secret at the moment.
Oh, great, there you go, you've heard it here first. So James, being your eldest boy, would you like him to take over the farm when you're ready to retire and step back?
It would mean that I've been working for something like, but I don't know. I mean, I talked to a friend actually now, saying, "Oh, I've got a little boy now. You know, I can retire in 18 years." And he said, "I've got 3 girls. I can retire whenever I want." And I thought, "Yeah, you're right, actually." Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, you know, I've got a daughter who's 11 in next month, and you know, she's sort of interested in the outdoors. She hinted at being a vet, but she's not really interested in. Not hinted at anything recently, but I've tried in a way to get it into the farm in a position where there's 3 different yards, so that they can be split. You know, so if everyone wanted to farm,
Yes.
they could.
They could do their own things on there, that makes sense, doesn't it? Yes, yeah.
You know, or if someone just wanted to farm the land, and someone then wanted to run the holiday side of it or the office side of it, you know, because there's no point building an empire if it all falls down.
That's
You know, you need to be able to.
It's got to be propped up well, hasn't it? The foundation's
Yeah,
got to
well,
be
viable.
Yes,
So-
yeah. And if one isn't running as strong, the others could possibly pop it up in some way or another. So, blogging then, you self-claimed as an accidental YouTuber, but you've got 50 million views on your YouTube channel. That's hardly accidental, is it? How did this all come about? How did it come about?
Being a good talker, the BBC used to, if ever there's a weather event, the BBC love it. So you come out and they're like, "Oh, can we talk about the dry weather? Can you talk about the wet weather?" So over the years, they've been out, because Salford's only up the road, Media City, and they do stuff for the North West Tonight. So Judy Hobbs, environment correspondent, used to come out, and they liked coming because it was always like, it was outdoors, it was visual, it was better than standing outside a courtroom, you know, or a police court because someone's been stabbed or something. So they come out on the farm and it'd be like a nice story, or as what they like, a doom story about the weather, but at least it was outside. So over the years they've been coming doing different things, and then they just said, can we follow you for 12 months and film what, you know, every few months we'll come out and do an update what you're doing on the farm.
Oh, so it wasn't every day, it was just every
couple of months, every season really. So we started doing that, and then it kind of just carried on, and you know, we got to, I think we've been doing that 2 or 3 years. And it arranged to come out this day in March 2020, and I was like, yeah, no, that's fine. Well, that turned out to be the first day of the UK lockdown. So
that was the first day of the UK lockdown.
Yeah, so they said, can we come out 2 weeks on Tuesday? And I was like, yeah, no, that's fine. And then obviously the world changed overnight that day, the day before, and they said, oh, look, you know, we've got this big lockdown. You're a key worker, you can still work.
Got to carry on working.
We're still allowed to work because we're, you know, keeping people sane by telling them what's going on in the world. Can we come and see you still? And we'll use a long lens and we won't get in the cab, because they normally get the tractor cab and film what we do. Like, yeah, no, that's fine. So they came out and we're filming this Tuesday morning, and it's eerie because the roads are quiet and everything. And they made this video of what we were doing. They said, "Oh, the only thing is there's something missing because we're not in the cab. Can you film something with your phone for us? And we'll try and use that footage." I was like, "Well, yeah, I've just got a new iPhone." Because 2 weeks before I've been in Pripyat in Chernobyl. In Ukraine, yeah. So I've been a few times over the years visiting farms out there. I always wanted to go around Chernobyl power plant, and there was tours, and anyway, so me and my 2 mates decided that, well, one of us booked the flights, one of us booked an Airbnb, and then the other one booked the tour, and we went out on a Friday, left Manchester Airport, car park was full, come back 3 days later and the world had changed because COVID had started to hit, all the flights were getting cancelled, the car park was empty, so we come home. But it's the best place to be in a pandemic, there's no one there. And we went around Chernobyl, an amazing experience, and I've got a new phone to take some really good pictures. So anyway, it's like a week later and we're filming with the BBC, and they're like, "Can you film something with your phone?" Like, yeah, okay. So we put my phone on my pocket, felt right, while we talking to my phone, saying what I was doing. And then like, I pulled up next to them, and they're in this like, they've got like an editing van, and they use Apple computers. So you just airdropped it across the field, like 10 foot away with a boom mic, you know. Airdropped it to them, and they started editing it. You know, we've got a 10 grand lens on this camera, and what you've done is just as good a quality in your phone. It's amazing. So they said, we're going to have to tell our boss how we did this, because you think that we're doing the career. So it went out that night, 2.5 minutes of what was happening on the farm that day. I screen recorded it off iPlayer and just put it on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And loads of people watched it and like, oh, it's really interesting, you know, we're all stuck in with him furlough, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't really think much of it. The next day I'm going around feeling a bit bored. Radio was rubbish, it was all about the pandemic. Took my phone out of my pocket as a joke, so it's day 2 of cat isolation, I called it.
Did you? Yeah.
And I just put it out there, and then loads of people watched it again, and then the next day I did it again as a joke. And the next thing, we're doing it for about a week or 2, and then the NFU were like, oh, can you use the hashtag lockdown learning?
Who's the NFU?
National Farmers Union. Okay. You start using the hashtag lockdown learning because, you know, it's obviously educational, the videos. It's like, okay, so start putting that hashtag on. I was putting it on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I had a few teachers messaging me going, oh, can we use your footage for teaching the children? Because they're all doing online learning then.
Or learning from home, really, yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll send you the video. So I was like sending it over WhatsApp, but some of them are getting 3 or 4 minutes long, and you can only send 2 minutes on WhatsApp, messing about. So after about 3 or 4 times, I said, oh, sod it. I'll just put it on YouTube and I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
So I had a YouTube channel years ago just for messing around. We dropped a piano off a floor, you know, drove over my mate's taxi with a digger and stuff. So we were like, so I started uploading it to YouTube and just sending people the links. And I'd said in the settings that it was made for children. Anyway, I carried on going and I thought, when do we stop? I thought, well, I'll stop and the world goes back to normal. But it's what happened, but it wasn't. So, you know, COVID really started to come in, and then we planted some sunflowers that we were going to do charity maize for. And people had seen them growing, and then I thought, well, I'll do 100 days and I'll start. 100 days was the middle of harvest, we had a combine coming on demo, people were loving the machinery, so I thought, right, okay, I'll do a year. My dad keeps his 5-year diary, so there's a diary every night, he writes in what he's done. After 5 years,
does he 5-year diary? Yeah. That's nice, isn't it?
So I thought, well, I'll do a year. The year the world went mad, that's what I did.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were about 9 months in, and there's a guy that had about 800 subscribers at the time, which I thought was pretty big.
And about 800 subscribers at the first year?
After about 8 or 9 months.
8 or 9 months, okay.
And there's a guy in Wales, Cotton Farmer at the time, about 10,000, so it was massive.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I've been watching your videos, they're really good, but did you know you're dead hard to find on YouTube because you've got your channel set up made for children? I was like, all right, how would you change it? He's like, oh, you have to log on with the computer, I was like, oh, I can't be bothered doing that, you know, I'll just use my phone. Then he carried on. A couple of weeks later, he's like, I'll send you a video how to do it. And he did, he sent me a video how to log on.
Wasn't it, yeah?
They changed the settings. Anyway, in about 3 weeks, I had 1,000 subscribers. It got up 200 dead quick. Wow. And I had 1,500 subscribers. And then I got to like the January, then, so like 10 months in, and I had 3,000 subscribers. Wow. I was like, this is growing pretty quick now.
Yeah, very.
Anyway, I said I was going to stop after a year, and everyone was like, oh, you can't stop after a year. And then there was some flooding.
And how regularly do you think you were putting these videos out?
Every day.
First year, it was still an every day vlog, yeah.
The odd live like now.
Yeah.
And it was January, there's this flooding happened up the road, and the police rang me up, the local policeman said, oh, could you help us, all these houses are flooding, there's all this water coming out of this field. It wasn't one of our fields, it is now actually random, we do rent it, but I went up with the telehandler with a bucket and I was just making soil banks to divert the water away from these houses because it's flowing off the field. And I was just filming it because it was a normal day to me. And on the way I'd gone under a railway bridge with a bit of a dip in the road, it was flooded and the water was maybe about that deep. Yeah. When I come back, it was too deep to get through because
even with the tractor.
Yeah, with the tractor, yeah. And there was a car in the middle of it with a guy sat on the roof. It was all fast. Oh. So I tried to get to him, and I couldn't reach him without it, seizing the engine. So I'd obviously filmed because this poor guy kind of thing, and there's some people who come out and stopped and called the fire brigade, and I rung the lads up at the yard and said, come with a really long trailer. Yeah. We'll be able to back the trailer and use it like a pier. So the lads came. We backed down the road with the fire brigade and we rescued this guy out of this car. He's in his 70s and warmed him up, put him in ambulance and stuff. Yeah. And it was just a daily video to me. So that night he went out, well, the Liverpool Echo obviously saw it, picked up on the story, and they shared it on their channel. So at that time I was getting like, 2,000 or 3,000 views, suddenly I had like 9,000 views. I was like, wow. On that individual video, it's a big jump, isn't it, from 2000 to 9, yeah. And I had like 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers, I think. So I did what they call monetize the channel, because I said I was going to stop after a year, and the next door neighbour was like, you mad, you're doing a fortune. I was like, oh, don't be daft. Anyway, I monetized the channel, which basically you allow YouTube to use advertising on your channel. The next day I did £1.49. I was like, wow, free money. So for like 10 months I've been making a video every
It
day.
feels like free money.
Not had a penny out, and suddenly I had like £1.49. This is amazing. Best £1.49 I've ever earned. Anyway, I carried on, and then the next day it's like £2, and it's only £3 a day, and it's only £5 a day. I was actually paying for my time now.
Yeah.
We're getting near the year, and I said I was going to stop, and everyone's like, oh no, you can't. And then,
Did you feel any peer pressure to actually
a little bit,
continue, or do your heart and heart wanting to stop or continue?
I kind of did want to stop, but then equally, I did enjoy it, because you can kind of dump your day on the internet. If you had a bad day, you can dump it on. And then obviously it started to pay for my time, so suddenly it's earning like £10 a day, and it's earning £20 a day, and I'm like, that's actually paying me really well for that half an hour of editing or whatever. So I suddenly started doing the maths, thinking, if this is growing like this, by June I'll be able to get enough money every month to buy a new sprayer.
Yeah.
So I got to the year and I thought, well, now it's paying, I'll just carry on and give it another year. So I said, if people want to carry on watching, I'll carry on making them, and you can buy me a sprayer. Anyway, the Farmers Weekly one said, is that an April Fool? Because the office think it's an April Fool, that YouTube's going to pay for your sprayer, because they're £240,000. And I was like, no, I said, if I've got a deposit with my old one, I said, it'd be £2.5 grand a month. I said, by June, if it carries on at the growth it's got now, it'll pay for my sprayer.
Wow.
So they did an article about it anyway, it carried on, but unknown to me, end of April it flies, because marketing, they're getting rid of the budgets. But come end of March, come the 1st of April it falls off a cliff.
Okay.
So it went from like up here to down there, but oh no. Anyway, luckily, because the sprayers are hand built, it wasn't ready till August, so the first payment didn't go out till September. But by September it was only £2,500 a month they paid for the sprayer. And then it kind of carried on, so I bought some other tractors off the back of it, but interesting ones. So like
You actually collect tractors, don't you?
yeah, so what I call modern classics. So like stuff that's 10, 20 years old that's like will be a classic one day.
Yeah, you're trying to hold on to them.
Yeah, trying to hold them, and we can use them, and it makes the videos interesting as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Because you've got a few really old ones.
Yeah,
they look like scrappers. Have you
Yeah.
got round to doing them up yet? No.
That was the plan. When we got some spare time, we'll do this tractor up, it'll be like a rags to riches.
When does a farmer have spare time?
Yeah, no, that's the problem. So I've got a college interested in doing a couple of them up, so that'll be good
Yeah.
to do, because we can go and document it, and it's obviously good for
Yeah.
the college then as well, because
Yeah, brilliant.
they'll get people interested in
It's good work experience for them, working
Yeah.
on them, isn't it, and bringing them back to life.
Yeah.
And great content for your YouTube channel.
Well, hopefully, yeah. I don't want to go out of my way to make content, but then, if it's interesting, I'll do it.
Yeah, great. And your YouTube channel now, I think, is it close to 80,000 subscribers?
Yeah, nearly, yeah.
50 odd million views.
Yeah, the thing is though, you've got shorts now, so YouTube lost a lot of ground with TikTok.
Yeah,
So they've created shorts. So you get subscribers that subscribe because they've seen you short, but I wouldn't call them real subscribers.
No.
They've
I don't like the shorts having myself, because we do, as you know, we only do a little bit on YouTube, nowhere near to the scale of what you're doing it. But we tried to do a little bit of a blog on just the Craig Phillips one, and then we've tried to just cover what our work stuff on, the videos that we make for our clients on the Mr. and Mrs. one. And it's just slowly kind of building up. But when the YouTube shorts come in, I just like, it looks bad the way it's laid out, but they've separated it now, haven't they? So you can see your video separate and then your short separate, which I think makes it a bit better. But generally wasn't a liker of them.
Well, I've got one video that's gone a bit viral, and it's gained me 15,000 subscribers, just one video.
One video, 15,000
Yeah,
subscribers. Is that the one with 10 million views?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think they're a real subscriber, because they've subscribed for short form videos, not 10-minute videos, which mine normally are.
Ah, right, okay.
So you kind of like, the video when it first went, I was getting like 200 or 300 subscribers every day. And then when it started to like peak and die off, you were getting new subscribers, but you were also losing the people that were like, I don't want to watch a 10-minute video, I want to follow them.
Okay.
So then suddenly you get
Do you think that's the younger generation who are used to watching the TikTok and just rolling through reels on Facebook and things?
Yeah, so it kind of like, I think it's met YouTube, if I'm honest.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I think, it should have been separate.
Yeah. So when you would advise the people who are watching, thinking doing a YouTube channel, would you say stick to your standard format, videos, 5, 10, 15 minute long.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
dilute it with shorts.
so there's a girl named Charlotte Ashley, and she did a little bit of TikTok. Well, did quite well on TikTok and did a bit of YouTube. And I was like, oh, this is how I do it. She'd spend 3 hours editing a video. I was like, oh, no, just use your phone. Get the app splice, off you go.
You're listening to this, lads.
So she
She
started.
spent 3 days editing my
Yeah.
videos.
So she started doing what I was doing,
Yeah.
and the channel grew really quickly. And there's like Gareth Wyn Jones, he's in Wales, a sheep farmer, and he's quite famous for like ranting about what's going on with vegans and stuff. She went to visit him a few weeks ago and told him exactly what I told her. So we started putting stuff on YouTube, and he put this one video on, and last time I looked at him, watched 136 million times.
One video he put
One video of sorting some sheep out of the gate. And he went from having like 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers to 300 or 400 subscribers in like 2 weeks. But they're just there for the shorts.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's great if you're going to put shorts on.
Yeah.
But like, they're probably not going to watch the longer
The
form
main
stuff.
videos, is it? Yeah. I mean, we have started putting some of the shorts on there, but it's only because when we produce a video, whether it's Wagner paint sprays or French sheet paint or 3C or something, they want the main video because people look at it for step-by-step tips if they fit in a back or paint a brain a door. But they also ask them for the short versions to be cut, just to get the followings on Facebook, Reels and TikTok and things. So I kind of think for us, the way we look at it is, the main cost for us is to, well, you've seen our studio, haven't you, over there? For us, we're doing a bathroom in there, so we'll make 20, 30 different videos out of that. Fit in the bath, the toilet, the sinks, the showers, and etc. So we spend the time pre-producing it, scripting it, lighting it, setting it, obviously rebuilding it, presenting it, and then the guys edit it. So we have a 10 or 15 minute video for the step-by-step. But because we've got all that content now in the bag, it's only a small extra cost for us, the guys, to edit for another couple of hours or half a day to make that 10-minute video into a 59-second one, which suits your shorts, doesn't it?
Yeah. The strange thing is like the YouTube, I aimed at it showing people what goes on my farm, but loads of farmers watch.
Okay.
Because like farmers.
Do they criticise what you do?
Not so much. You get a few, but not really. I'm very lucky with that. But a lot of farmers when they go down the road, they'll be looking over hedges, whatever everyone's up to. Well, they can do that from the comfort.
Neighbours.
They can do that from the comfort of their armchair, you see, at
Yeah.
night or in bed. So that's the strange thing. So probably half the people that follow me would say it'd be farmers.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say half the people who are following you are farmers. Do you think it's going to get to a point where you kind of saturate your audience? Or, I don't know how many farmers there are in the UK, you probably have a closer idea than me, but let's say there's 500,000, right? And half of them are on social media and YouTube. Once you've got them as a captured audience, do you think that could slow your momentum down of growth?
I don't know, because like a lot of them are all over the world as well. Like, there's a lot of farmers in the world, isn't there? So I
Do
don't
you
know.
know what the percentage rate is from your...
Yeah, I mean, it tells you the demographics. You know, there's quite a lot in America watching now, Australia,
Really?
New Zealand. Yeah, so I don't.
It's going to continuously
I
grow.
don't quite know, and there's obviously like there's people being born every year as well.
Yeah.
You know, people are going to get to 16 and discover the video and think, oh, well, enough to watch. I don't know. It's the peak age is around my age to watch, which is strange. So.
Okay. So the videos that you've done now, and I think it was about 1,300 videos up on your YouTube channel now. I had a quick look last night.
No, I think we're on that. It's like day 1165, I think, today. I think.
Yeah, because I know we were with you that day when you were doing your 1,000th day, but you're on about the 1,100th day on the blog.
Yeah,
right?
so yeah,
I think
1,000.
you put about 1,300 videos up, because I put a few live things
yeah.
and stuff on it. Yeah. Is there anything you can kind of recall being the most memorable day of making a video? You know, the best ones, any jump out to mind?
What was quite a funny video was last July we went out with the combine and I was doing a live video because we just started combine that season. I'm filming and I'm going around the car and the next thing all the line lights come on and the combine's going crazy beeping at me and I'm like, I'm going to have to go, something's going on. And I cut the live. Well, that video that went out that night, which was obviously what I was doing that day and what had gone wrong, went out and suddenly was flying because everyone had like been cut off from this live or been tuned in later and seen something go wrong.
Yeah.
And it had gone off. So Yeah, and then for years, one of my most watched videos was when we had the sunflower maze. They couldn't do a calendar girl shooting it.
Okay.
Drama group from like Cheshire somewhere.
Yeah.
Pissing down. And you couldn't really see anything, but like the thumbnail and it was obviously really good for the algorithm.
Yeah. It worked well.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the sunflower maze?
Yeah, so when I was in Ukraine years ago, travelling from the east to the west, and there was it was like January, and you've got Kharkiv we were in, which is where they first invaded actually, and you've got these massive fields that meet the horizon, full of snow. You've got this white sky because it's snowing, and it's just like looking at that wall. Obviously watching the wall. And I said to the translator that was like, it's amazing, the side of the fields, and you should see them in the summer when they're full of sunflowers. I'll never get a chance to go back in the summer. So we had a field that the rabbits had just destroyed in the spring, so I thought, I'll grow some sunflowers and see what they like, see if I can grow them, and I did. I had this amazing display of sunflowers, and didn't know what to do with them, so I was just took a few pictures and put them on Facebook. And my friend's wife, Linda, after this collected a bit of following this, she was like, oh, can I have some? And I just went, yeah, £10 a bunch, just joking, like. It's like, I'll have 2 bunches. And then my other friend's wife, Amanda, was like, oh, can I have some? And I was like, yeah. And at the time, Amanda was going through cancer treatment because of her, and then there was no time to call her and stuff. I was like, yeah. I said, I'll bring you some now. It's convenient tomorrow. It's like, yeah, come round. So I went round with this biggest bunch of sunflowers you've ever seen. Gave them to her husband, Nick, who's a bit entrepreneurial, a bit like me. He's like, it's a massive bunch, how many have you got?
10,000.
It's like, the £10 a bunch, he's on his phone, he's like, £10 a bunch, Mark Spencer, how many have you got? And I was like, well, there's a hectare of them, so that's 10,000 square metres, say, so 3 per square metre, 300,000. And it's like, it's worth a thought. She was like, yeah, no. He said, you're not going to harm it, that's why I can't. I said, as soon as you got your wheat, they're just there. Anyway, I'm driving back from the house, and it's at the time Michael Gove had just become the Environment Secretary for DEFRA or whatever. And he's talking about this public money for public good and paying farmers to do stuff for wildlife and different things. And I thought, there's some value in that field, I need to harness it. And I thought, right, I wonder would people buy them, but not to take out the field, but to leave in the field for birds to eat over the winter. And everyone that's bought them will harvest. I thought, they might not give me the money, but they might give it to a charity. So I thought, I need a charity. And I just Googled these 3 words. Sunflowers Charity, Liverpool. And on Google came up Liverpool Sunflower Cancer Cure Charity. That's perfect, I've just been with someone suffering from cancer.
Yeah.
They had a Facebook page, so I clicked on it. That night, we were having a charity salsa dancing evening. And who was going? My friend's wife, Linda, who'd asked for them bunches of sunflowers. I was like, that's really weird.
And the stars aligning.
So I was like, well, that's the charity. So I didn't know how to do it. And I just put on Facebook a post that evening saying, I've thought about doing this. People can buy the sunflowers and then they can go out to the say in the field and raise some money for this charity. How would I do it? And lad who was self-royalty was like, oh, it's dead easy. Go on, just give me a separate page, click the charity, and that's it. 10 minutes on your phone, done it. Yeah. Put it on Facebook, went to bed. Next morning, we woke up, it's 500 quid overnight. People buying these sunflowers. I was like, that's brilliant. And it's the charity are on the phone to me. Oh, I can't believe what you've done. We had a charity salsa dancing even last night. It took 2 months to organise. We only raised 300 quid. You've raised 500 quid in your sleep. But the interesting thing was, Linda originally wanted them sunflowers. Yeah. To give us a raffle prize at that event.
Oh, right.
So she never got the raffle prize, but in the end ended up with about 10,000 quid.
Wow.
So the year after, I thought, right, I'm going to grow more. So I grew 20 acres. I thought, I want to make a maze.
20 acres.
Anyway, it was a drought and they were about this high and they were rubbish. They're weedy. So it didn't have a maze. Year after, tried again. Similar sort of story. And then BBC Green Planet rang me up in like just before COVID, so like January, February time. Said, I believe you grow sunflowers.
Had you been talking about it on your YouTube blog?
No, it hadn't started yet then. There's news articles about me growing sunflowers because we raised the money for charity. So it made it into the papers at the time as well. And I'm on the news. So they'd obviously Googled, found me, and said, can we come and film a David Attenborough for Green Planet? So I was like, oh yeah. He said, are you growing them again? I was like, yeah. Anyway, I thought, right, I need to put loads of effort into these. So we picked a field, put loads of muck on it, loads of fertiliser on it, really put some effort into. grew these sunflowers. Of course, he couldn't come, could he? Because it was COVID.
Oh, because was Sir David actually going to come?
He was going to come filming, yeah. He did send a camera crew in the end, and he set up this train track through and we're scanning through with all these cameras.
Yeah.
Canadian girl come with one of them, and she's like hairy armpits. It was a bit scary. I lifted this camera up, like, oh, I didn't expect that. But yeah, so they filmed. But I obviously had this field of sunflowers, and I was like, right, I'm going to make a maze. And people have been watching the videos, so they knew I'd got them and stuff. And the social media started to grow a little bit, so I got a lawnmower. Someone lent me one that was watching the videos and said, I need a really good mower to put these paths in. And he fencing contractor, and he used it for cutting the side of motorways, like brambles and stuff. He's got this beastie lawnmower. And he said, I'll drop it off, you can borrow it. So we cut these paths in on the Friday and then made on the Saturday. And he really decided I was going to do it on the Wednesday. And it flew. And I said, I give half the profits to charity because I needed some of the money myself to pay for them. It was a bad year, we had a drought. We took 100,000.
And it's costing you to do that.
Yeah, you know,
machinery, fuel. You know, you're paying.
It cost me about £7 grand to
in
do it and
okay.
staff in it, but it took 100,000 quid in 28 days.
What?
So I think I ended up with 43,000 for charity and 43,000 for myself.
Yeah.
So I split that between 4 charities that work with the NHS.
Oh, good for you.
And
Again, that's saying what I said earlier about you've got this really combination of entrepreneurial but very nice caring kind of businessman as well, of doing what's right for yourself as an entrepreneur, but also making it where you help in the communities and the charities around you.
So everyone that came said they wanted to come back if we did it again the next year. So the next year, which was 2 years ago, instead of growing 10 acres, they grew 40. And what I did was every time they grew, we got to 3 leaves, I planted another 10 acres and another 10 acres. So the idea was they'd flower for longer over the summer. Yeah. Because we only got 28 days from them looking amazing to looking rubbish.
Is that all there is?
Yeah, they don't flower for long. About 2 weeks, but obviously they don't all flower at the same time. So I stage grew them at 40 acres, sorted all the staff out and all that, and in double the amount of time and 2 or 3 times the costs, it only took like 40 grand. And when you gave half it away, I was left with nothing as well. So, you know, I thought I'm not doing it again. But I did like growing sunflowers, so I did grow them again. But wasn't going to open it as a maze. And then I had loads of people messaging on us in sunflower maze over. And I said, right, okay. It's Ukraine had kicked off. It's the flower of Ukraine. I was like, right, the sunflower fields there. It's not a maze, we've just cut a path around it so you can enjoy them and leave a donation. Anyway, it was over for about 5 or 6 weeks and it took like 1,700 quid in donations. I had to pay my nephew to park the cars. It didn't stack up as much. You know, it cost me. I would have been better off writing a cheque for £5 grand and giving it to a charity.
You don't dedicate the time and effort and use up your resources as staff.
Yeah. So this year I'm not doing it at all.
Okay.
It's on its day. There's I was the first one in the UK. I don't know what there was. I did find that other people in the world did it, but I didn't know anyone else did at the time. But loads of people have done it as well and copied it now. I mean, people have run me up how to do it as well, like a lot of people. So I'd actually made a video how to do it. Just put it out there. But I'm growing some this year, but I'm not telling people where they are because I'm growing them commercially. I want to combine them for the oil.
Okay. Yeah.
So if I'm going to combine them for the oil, I want to be able to go through the spray and put fungicide on.
Yes.
Because the last few years I've not been able to go through the spray because it puts lines in which would spoil the maize, but also you don't want to put fungicide on if people are walking around like that day.
Sure, yeah.
But everything we've harvested so far has been moulded by the time we've harvested it because they've rotted in the field because we've not had fungicide. So we're not. That's what I'm going to do this year.
Yeah, change the strategy. Okay. Yeah. We'll take a break there because I know the guys will have to cut and restart these cameras. But I've got one question for you first. You mentioned earlier about how did you take it when you drove over his car with the tractor?
The taxi, well, it was a scrap one. Anyway, that's what we made. We've got a back over his motorbike by mistake the other week.
You packed over it in the tractor?
He around showing his new motorbike and he parked in the yard behind one of the tractors and the Merle accident from the roof. We were doing something in it and he was like, oh, okay, we're going to the tractor. And I just jumped on it, put it in reverse and just did a crunch and it went,
and you drove over it.
Didn't fly over it, just smashed a bit on the floor. So.
Good! That's brilliant.
How long have we been talking for?
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
I've been recording that continuously, that says 50.
It says 50
minutes, yeah.
Okay.
It's good, man. I think it's fun.
I don't know to run that live now.
Should we end that live now or restart it again for the next bit?
I'll on my YouTube, I'll end this live now because I don't think anyone will watch for over 45 minutes. But if you want to see more, you'll have to watch it.
Our plan was on that one.
We'll have a quick break and then we'll
Want any balls?
Oh, yes,
What's
please,
your
yeah.
time?
Battery.
I'll go to the brew, yeah.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
that?
Yeah, yes, please. Thanks.
Right.
Mark.
There's one on charge.
Do you want
Fully
some more
illuminated.
as well?
Please.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Oh, he hasn't dropped
Stop
down.
all live as